Thank you, moderator. And thank you, everyone, for waiting. Liam Marshall, Chairman of the Church of Scotland Trust, and I have pleasure in presenting my first report. Just before I come into the Assembly Hall this evening, or this afternoon rather, my wife gave me some words of advice. She said, "Don't speak too quickly." I suspect you might be quite happy if I did speak quite quickly. Moderator, as the opening paragraph of our report states, the function of this Church of Scotland Trust is to hold properties out with Scotland and to act as a trustee in a number of third-party trusts. The Trust is currently trustee in 49 of these third-party trusts, which benefit different areas of the Church's work, such as support for university faculties of divinity, educational grants for divinity students, study grants to ministers, and financial support for specific congregations or presbyteries or the work of the unincorporated entities. The total value of these funds at 31st December 2022 was just under £7 million. Some of the individual funds are very small, 4 of them being under £10,000. Some are much larger, the largest being £1.5 million. The Trust provides a very valuable service in that the charge which we levy to cover the work of the General Treasurers and Church Law Departments is only 0.125% of the capital value of each trust. With regard to the Trust's work out with Scotland, this falls under 3 headings. Firstly, Pakistan. There was a time when the Church of Scotland had properties all over the world, and there was scarcely any country that did not have a St Andrew's Scots Kirk in it. However, since the 1950s, it has been the policy of the Church of Scotland to transfer its former foreign mission properties to the Indigenous Church in the country in question, and that has happened everywhere except Pakistan. In that country, Church of Scotland interests are located in Sialkot district, which is in the northeast of Punjab province, comprising land, church buildings, residences, and other property. For more than 50 years, the Trust has been trying to divest itself of these properties to the Church of Pakistan without success. My predecessor as chairman, his predecessor, and his predecessor before him, I suspect, have year on year expressed a hope that matters were moving towards a resolution, particularly since in 2019 a new succession trust was agreed under which the Church of Scotland would transfer the properties to local trustees in Pakistan for the benefit of the Christian communities in the Diocese of Sialkot. Unfortunately, 4 years on, the relevant deed has still not been registered in Pakistan. We are very conscious of the difficult situation in Pakistan currently, but we cannot allow this situation to continue, so we at the end of March, contacted individually the 9 Pakistani trustees, advising that if the new succession trust was not registered soon, we would seek to have the deed returned to the Church of Scotland and would commence the process of transferring the properties instead to local or national government in Pakistan. I'm pleased to say that we have, just this past week, received a response from Sialkot Diocese assuring us that the matter is now receiving their urgent attention. So watch this space. Next, with regard to Israel, the Church of Scotland Trust acts as trustee on behalf of the Faith Impact Forum, holding the title deeds of our various properties there, and also holding the shares in our two commercial ventures, St Andrews Galilee Limited and St Andrews Scottish Centre Limited. While policy and operational matters are the responsibility of the Faith Impact Forum, the Church of Scotland Trust is consulted by the Forum on all major financial, land and property developments. Rental payments, loan interest payments and loan repayments are all made to the Trust by the Hotel and Guest House and then passed on in their entirety to the Faith Impact Forum. And then with regard to the International Presbytery, the Church of Scotland Trust has a broadly similar role to that of the General Trustees for congregations within Scotland. Once again, policy decisions are the responsibility of the International Presbytery, but the Trust has to approve any extensive alterations to properties, any property purchase, and the lease of any property in excess of 1 year. As the International Presbytery moves forward with the implementation of its own mission plan, the Trust is involved in the disposal of any buildings deemed surplus to requirements. Finally, you'll be glad to hear that word, finally, in terms of our constitution, the number of trustees in the Trust must not exceed 20. At present, there are 10 serving trustees representing a wide range of professional qualifications and expertise. The trustees retiring at this time are the Very Reverend Dr. Lorna Hood and the Reverend Dr. George White. Both are eligible for reappointment and are willing to be reappointed, and we seek the Assembly's approval of this evening. I'd like to thank all of the members of the Trust for their commitment and contribution to the work of the Trust over the past year. We are ably supported by the General Treasurer and members of her department and by the Law Department. In particular, I would thank Madeleine Sproul in her tripartite role as our Secretary, Clerk and Solicitor for her support in ensuring the smooth and efficient functioning of our business. I table a copy of the audited Trust accounts for last year, copies of which are available for inspection by request to our Clerk, Madeleine Sproul. Moderator, I present our report to the Assembly, and as I'm not a Commissioner, I would ask the Principal Clerk to move the deliverance.
I move the deliverance.
Seconded.
Thank you, Convener. And given that you've finished with nearly 7 minutes of your time left, you can convey to your wife our grateful thanks. She's here. Thank you. Thank you. I've no immediate request to speak, so we will move straight to the deliverance. And number one, which is, of course, as always, to receive the report and thank the members of the Trust for their diligence. And online, thank you. Number two, this was what was referred to. Thank you. No more numbers. The deliverance as a whole. And online. Thank you, Convener, and to your whole team. Our thanks to you. Again, might we apologise that there are so few here. You understand, I'm sure, the circumstances, but nonetheless, we are very grateful for what you do in the name of this church. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.